Hello, Scaredy Krites. It's me, Scaredy Matt. This weekend, I watched two discrete movies. Bo Burnham's Inside, perhaps the most moving work of art I've seen in years, and also Critters 3. I knew there would be diminishing returns with the Critters franchise. That's really half of the fun of these series retrospectives. To watch something that at one point had an ounce of creativity slowly become a disposable commodity. To watch the infinite possible worlds of the human imagination become reduced to the same stale beats, the same characters, the same tired jokes done less and less artfully as time makes fools of us all. To watch dozens of talented artists, performers, and craftspeople dedicate their time, energy, and portions of their fleeting lives to a property that nobody involved in gives even a fraction of a shit about. To be slapped into the open maw of the consumer. Something, anything, to distract from the nagging call of the void. A movie nobody wanted to watch, made by people who did not want to make it. An artifact of toil and misery, of congealed consumerism strangling the human spirit. In this one, the critters are in the big city. Is the premise in this one. I think it's New York. By rights, that makes this Critters Take Manhattan. I say they're in the city, but no, they're in one apartment building. And I say New York because although this is clearly LA, a few of the characters talk in the most obnoxiously over-the-top, borderline offensive to Italian people New York accent.
I am the handyman after all. Don't look at me. I gotta see him to eradicate him.
Oh, hey, Bobby, what's up?
Hey, Matty, it's me, Bobby Duke, star of the channel. I'm a metaphor for grief over here. Matty, you thought of me when you were high on marijuana edibles, remember? Okay, I'm a Babadook, bye.
So let me just set the scene here. Cliff, daughter Annie, and little Johnny are driving home in their shitty little RV from the Grand Canyon. You can tell that we're in the Grand Canyon because all of their hats have the words the Grand Canyon written on them. Real imaginative stuff by the prop department. It's the little things sometimes that sell a movie. Anyway, they get a flat tire and park at a conveniently placed RV park, which... Hey movie, you didn't need to justify this RV going to an RV park. That's a normal thing for RVs to do. There they meet Josh, played by Leonardo DiCaprio in his first film role. Apparently, this role was also offered to Cary Elwes, but he turned it down, and that's probably for the best because Cary Elwes is 12 years older than DiCaprio, and it's difficult for me to imagine him appearing in this movie, in this role, the same year that he was in Robin Hood Men in Tights. Also there, Josh's stepdad, who we know is a bad guy because he wears a sweater over his shoulders. Typical movie rich snob shit, because in movies, rich snobs often have cold shoulders. Oh, also there's a nest of Charlies. He pops out of the ground covered head to toe in weird krite fighting equipment because he wanders the earth looking for krites and offering random children krite detecting crystals, or cryptokrite. So I guess he didn't become sheriff of Grover's Bend. He's wearing the badge, but he's just hiding in piles of leaves now. Maybe that's what he does in his free time? The unnamed family drives back home, crashes their RV, which has no brakes for a reason that is not explained. There we meet the rest of the principal cast and get all of the exposition to understand the whole situation there. Cliff is emotionally unavailable because he's a train conductor who has to work long hours away from his family, and his wife, the mother of Annie and Johnny, died somehow. Since that time, Cliff has become unable to deal with his problems head on. Like, for example, he doesn't want to talk about moving one time, and it seems like he's doing his best. Like he's holding his family together and raising them by himself, so hey, let's ease up on Cliff a little bit, movie. But there's a scheme brewing. The maintenance man, Frank, is helping a mysterious villain to strong-arm the tenants into moving out. If you pay very close attention, there are actually some subtle hints that Frank is not a good dude.
Hey, you got the elevator fixed.
Hey, not for you, Rosie. There's still a 1-ton load limit. Yo, check your weapons at the door. It's the chick that walks like a man. Yo, Marsha, I got a little phone problem. Maybe you could come down to the basement and check out my equipment.
Frank, you gonna give us a hand with this?
No. I love my work.
But Matt, where are the critters? Where are the critters in this Critters film, Matthew? Sit with that feeling, live with it, because it's a full 30 minutes into this movie before we even get a whiff of a critter. What do they fill the time with, you ask? Maybe those wacky bounty hunters? They're up to their old tricks again? No. It's mostly family drama about how Cliff won't spend time with his kids, you see. After eating dinner with his kids, one time he wants to watch TV. That means he's a bad dad. He wanted to watch TV one time. What a terrible dad. Frank gets gobbled up by critters after perving on Rosie's bra, even though he made some pretty shitty remarks about her weight earlier in the movie. And hey, Critters 3, you don't get to use that to establish this as a bad guy when you also have the character just randomly walk around eating donuts and shoving ice cream in her face. One of the critters gets bleach on his face, which makes part of it melt off and gives him a cool stripe. So he's like the main critter in this one, I guess. And I suppose also the critters are allergic to bleach or something, like bleach kills them. Otherwise, people in this building just use acid to wash their clothes. Rosie goes down to the basement to do her laundry after putting all of her laundry in a chute, which drops her clothes in the laundry room. And what is the purpose of this? Is it just to conceal critters? Is that why they built this? That seems like a nightmare. Imagine two people put their clothes in at the same time. Now you're picking through the random underwear of whatever creepazoids live in your building. What the fuck? Is this a thing? Is this a real thing? Just carry your fucking laundry to the laundry room. Oh, also in this one, the critters can do spin dashes like Sonic the Hedgehog. I kind of love that. I love that they can do that now. It pleases me. There is much to criticize in this movie, but the critters can spin dash now, and that's something we can all be proud of. The critters attack Rosie, which leads Annie to rescue her, and then Rosie and Cliff get critter stingered, so they're useless for a while. Luckily, Marsha is there to save the day. Marsha is the best character in the movie, and consistently does cool shit. She has big Kurt Russell and a John Carpenter movie energy.
It ought to hold my weight long enough for me to get connected. I'm down to 119.
Marsha, you're gonna die out there.
Any calls you want me to make for you?
She shoves a flare down one of the critter's gullets and tosses it down the laundry chute, which starts a fire. Another reason why you probably shouldn't have the laundry chute. Seems like a real fire hazard. Like, if someone throws a cigarette down that thing, the whole building's fucked. In this movie, the critters just kind of stand around and wait for people to make a move, giving our heroes plenty of time to think of novel ways to fight back. It's very clear that there are a few spots with holes cut out of the floor for puppeteers to operate the critters. They will not be walking around and doing anything more complicated than kind of waggling their arms a little bit. Every shot of a critter seems like they're going, hey, look at me, I'm a critter. Hey, over here, I'm a critter, gonna get you. These kind of movies are half magic trick, like you're meant to be fooled into thinking the puppets are alive. Not consciously, but you're not supposed to be watching them and thinking about the fact that they're puppets. Critters 3 didn't get the memo, I guess, and it feels like these things are just operated with one hand. They're so dull. Just look at this critter mayhem scene. Like, that's the big thing in every Critters movie. You gotta be seen where the critters are getting up to all sorts of mischief and nonsense. In this one drinks dish soap, and another one eats a bunch of beans, and then farts. Just kind of standing there eating beans and drinking dish soap. So all of the humans scramble around upstairs while the critters are downstairs, and then some of them have to do missions. Eventually, Charlie shows up because the old man in the building, who's a UFO nut, called him. Oh, also, Charlie is the sheriff of Grover's Bend now, so don't know what's up with that. Josh and his stepdad, the rich jerk, show up. Turns out Josh Dad was the evil rich guy that Frank was working with. What a twist. The critters eat Josh Dad, and Josh blames himself. Don't worry, it doesn't go anywhere. Charlie blows up the critters or something, and they all get outside and it's all fine. Josh's mom tells all the tenants that her husband had been scheming to not have to pay them the money he owes them to move out, and she plans to rebuild the building instead of building a strip mall that like he wanted to do. And so she's gonna let them stay in a hotel until the new building is done, and then they can live there. Seems like a lot of money, but okay. Josh and Annie decide to go on a date, and then Leonardo DiCaprio has dated women in that age range ever since. The actress who played Annie is 19, I think her character is meant to be like, I don't know, 12, but she's 19, she's very clearly an adult, and it's really weird to see her dressed like a child and acting like she's meant to be a child when she's very clearly an adult. It gives you a little window into what this movie might have been like if Carrie Elways had taken the role of Josh. Because it's this 19-year-old woman, and her love interest is a prepubescent Leonardo DiCaprio. Okay, sure. Yup. Charlie goes back into the building to smash critter eggs, but before he can, he gets a holographic message from the Intergalactic Council, and Ugg has a brief cameo. Ugg is a hologram who informs Charlie that you're not allowed to assassinate an alien if that would lead to its extinction, and these are the last critter eggs in the galaxy. And then a giant probe crashes through the building. To be continued. Aren't you excited? Aren't you excited for it to continue? All of the adventure and intrigue? What do you think will happen? Probably the critters will escape and kill a couple of people and stand still most of the time, because Critters 3 and 4 were filmed simultaneously, so we can look forward to more of this quality coming up. Critters 3 is boring. How do you make a Critters movie boring? You just gotta have the critters scribble scrabble around doing mischief, throwing some bounty hunters explodifying shit. I don't know if the mic picked that up. That was real thunder and lightning. That's not added in post. How atmospheric. Critters lends itself to sequels. Critters in the big city? Taking a big old bite out of the Big Apple? Hell yeah. But they don't. It's all in one shitty building, and they don't even really take advantage of that setting even. Most of the time it's just the characters hiding in the attic and waiting. No conflict between these characters, no interesting dynamics in play there. The two villainous characters are killed first. So they never have to like confront any of the people they're hurting. There's an attempt at some sort of message against gentrification, but the message seems to be like, hey, it's bad when rich people force poor people out of their homes, and yeah, Critters, we know that, Critters 3. And just like, it's okay to wait to make a sequel until you have an idea for either something fun to show people or something to say. You can wait, we have time. We will continue to remember what Critters is. You can wait until you've got an idea. Anyway, next week we'll be doing Critters 4, and I think that I'm like halfway through the Critters franchise, and that's filling me with a sense of dread. But I'm pot committed, baby. You think I'm gonna be scared away by one bad Critters movie? You have any idea how many bad Wishmaster movies I had to watch? 2. Exactly 2.